tournaments. So, like, I don't know how good they are because obviously most of that has been kill races.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But I can definitely say they're motivated.
yeah, in the Apex Pro South American like League Season 1, they got 4th out of 17.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think the
I'm not
first team
sure.
there was the other Khazar team, which was
Mm-hmm.
Blockbuster.
Yep.
Yeah. Which we'll get to because they're also in this group, which is going to be
Yes,
interesting.
like I think with most of the South American teams, we don't have enough information to really know
No,
how they will do.
no, we don't.
Yeah. So up then is I think the team we're all looking forward to.
Oh, I really do want to
Mm.
watch this team play so much,
It's
dude.
MVP. It's
Ooh.
like
I'm just scared. I'm just saying I'm scared of having them in my group.
it's MVP. These guys,
I mean,
it's a joy to watch them. They're also really funny, but
Yeah,
aside from that, yeah, I can.
probably one of the highest skill teams
Uh,
in the tournament, at least from what it seems like.
they're
yeah.
also like I think they hold like the top 3 or 5 or something
Yeah,
in like EU Predator rankings.
yeah,
Yeah, which is insane.
And like the thing is in the scrims they play with like a huge ping disadvantage as well,
yeah.
and still they
Yeah,
do
they
like really
do.
good.
Yeah, just like them on a land setting, dude. They're gonna be monsters.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to these guys play and see how they stack up against other teams. Because otherwise, yeah, we don't know much about Korea otherwise. And I think the only assessment I know is that Sam said like at the beginning of their pro league thing, they weren't that
Yeah.
good, but they've generally just improved so much and grinded. I don't know how much.
No, no. I think they're a really dangerous team. I actually would put them in probably one of the teams that has the best chance for going through this group.
Yeah.
So after that, we have Mistral, which is a UK team mostly, but they picked up Otter. Um, I know that they're the 2 UK players they have on their team are still playing Quake or are
Yeah,
splitting their
yeah.
time.
Garby's still playing Quake. He's playing the Quake Pro League right now. Like he's like doing it all. It's insane.
He's playing a lot. So generally, coming from Quake, these guys know how to shoot guns. I think that's
Yeah.
the
Oh,
basis.
yeah,
But
dude.
I know Otter, he's a funny guy. I can like he got into the whole he got banned through his stream because of a bug.
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
So dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got banned in about 30 minutes, 1 hour.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Because
It was like blowing up too on
Yeah.
Twitter.
exactly like on Reddit they were like, oh, he's obviously cheating. Look at his reaction, and he's like, oh, I'm just making a joke. Which it was pretty funny to watch, but also like
It was actually pretty
Yeah.
funny to watch.
So yeah, I think they're generally like a decent team, and I think they could get into like the lower position of the top 10.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're an interesting team. I think they can squeeze through,
Yeah.
but I'm interested to see how they do. I think they're very hot and cold.
No, I do think like the addition of Alder improved a lot for them.
No, for sure. That's 100% sure.
Yeah.
And then we go through Navi.
Oh,
Oh
Yes.
god, dude, definitely a top 5 team.
I think since
No
they picked
doubt.
up Impulse, they have just did a jump in quality. Well,
Yeah.
they pretty much picked up the old Fire Beavers team,
Yeah,
like
basically.
taking away Sunset was playing with them, right?
Sunset
With
was
PKMK.
no, yeah, PKMK is now
Um,
playing with Navi, and he played
Yeah.
with Nine Impulse and
Yeah.
uh,
Was it? Well, he was playing with Psy at a certain point at the start.
yeah,
Psybait is now playing Kick, but I'm not sure who was the third one when they got the third Russian-speaking player in that lineup.
I can't remember. It could have been Artiku. It could have been someone else.
Yeah,
I'd have to look, but yeah, the addition of Nine Impulse changed a lot for them.
hmm
I'd say because they weren't too hot when they first got their first squad, because then they had Klaus and Cypher, which are like Quake pros, and then
Yeah.
they got
Mhm.
PKMK, and they didn't really get off to a hot start. So then Cypher moved to a coaching role within the
Mhm.
team. Obviously, still playing Quake, I guess.
Yeah.
And then they picked up Nine Impulse, and I think that's just That's the greatest decision he could have made. He played
Yeah.
with PKMK, so they have synergy, and then they're just monsters.
And he's a great player as well. So
Yeah.
like, best decision they probably made.
For sure.
All right, and then we go to NRG. I'm guessing most people know NRG, Dizzy,
Oh.
and Ace.
I think that's gonna be like the fan favorite for most.
Oh, no
viewers.
doubt, dude.
No, like I think they are the fan favorite, at least from this group. But I wouldn't put them as my favorite of the group.
Oh,
I actually would
No.
probably put Navi above them. Actually,
I think
Yeah,
I
they're
for
put,
example.
I think I'd put like Navi, MVP. I think I'd put way more teams above them, but like they're gonna be top 10, but
Yeah,
not like top 5.
yeah. I think that's a
I
good call.
definitely agree.
They could do top 5 easily as well. Like
Yeah, it depends a bit because they weren't too
Yeah.
hot on next games. I'd say.
no,
Yeah,
But
which is
they've-
very
they've-
disappointing, by the way.
but they've been changing their style a lot. I think and playing a lot more position wise rather than actual go for full on kills. And I think they've improved a lot. X games when they started doing that for the first time because obviously I think for Dizzy and Asu that was the actual first custom tournament after. Well, we can talk about Twitch rivals, but that was mainly against streamers and Rogue. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, basically the other. There was another Twitch rivals as well, and then they had custom lobbies but online.
Yeah,
It's a bit weird, but yeah, the same. Navi competed in that as well. It's basically they placed like first or second, and they just rolled over everyone and getting like an insane amount of kills every game. So yeah, that just allows for, especially like energy. It's like they're pub stomping over everyone, and they're guaranteed to win then. But pub stomping isn't gonna like work on teams that know how to play.
Yeah.
true.
100%.
All right,
Penta.
So-
Ooh.
and then we have Penta.
Definitely a top 5 team.
Like the thing with Penta is they've been really good in season where they actually try, but then you have seasons where they haven't even played or haven't even given in points in Pro League. But they're a really good team, like everyone knows, and I think they're one of the teams that are pretty sure about doing top 10 in this group. But we obviously haven't seen them a lot. We haven't seen them a lot in custom lab. Well, in league wise, we've seen them in like I think one of the last seasons where they came second or third.
Yeah, it was like finished very up. So, same when they were playing with like North in that season.
Exactly.
And
That
they-
was season 5. Yeah, they came fourth, and that was so like that was probably their best season. And but they only really have played like 2 seasons properly with
I
getting
think
in
like
points
that
stuff like
season
that.
and maybe one other season. So the other seasons are like you don't know what happened, but
But they're a really good team.
they
Everyone
have
knows it at
experience.
least.
Like
Yeah.
Wacko and I know Orax. I don't know about Nesh, but they played PUBG.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're just gonna be very familiar with like battle royale and LAN environments.
Sounds good. Yeah, no, I definitely would put them easily in the top 10 of this group. Easily.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, I can talk about the next team.
Not that they're gonna be
Oh.
number 1, right?
Yeah,
The win the group 100%.
easy.
It's QLash, which is the Italian.
See, I need to break it here. It's Clash, guys.
Is
everyone
it
calls
Clash?
it, yeah, everyone calls it Clash.
Oh.
It's Clash.
Dang.
So for
Wow.
people going on and
Wow,
calling
boys.
it, it's Clash.
Wow. Damn, blew my mind.
Easy. Oh well, then, yeah, but yeah. Sorry, I had to block you on there because everyone says that it's trying to like fix people and saying it's Clash. It's not Clash.
Yeah. I'd still say like top 10 in the group. Other than that, I think. No, I have to pull up the results because I'm not too sure anymore. My research. Yeah. From what I know, like certain European seasons, you like finish pretty high up, like top 10. Season 5 at least. And then there's like some other seasons where you might have finished a bit lower, like top 20. But like sometimes, like when I got like submissions and people were like, "Yeah, but we never submitted games. Please remove us from the points." So sometimes I'm like not too sure about how to think about like the lower kind of rankings. Yeah, it's really dumb. But yeah, I think just generally top 10. There's been a bit of like roster shakeups, of course.
Yeah.
Because Sib left to Kick, and initially they had Mies, but he's the coach now, right?
Yep. He's he had no more time to play, so he moved himself to coach based on work.
That's
I would expect us to go through. Like I would say that's at least our expectation for this group. But I'm not gonna say we're gonna be top 5, top 1 or something because I don't want to jinx ourselves or anything. So I'm just saying I'm expecting us to go through.
I definitely say you do get top 10, no doubt. I think you get somewhere in the middle, like 6th or 7th, but I do think you go out for sure, no doubt.
So then we have Khazar, the other team, their blue team, and which is like the Brazilian team that has generally they've been playing a lot of kill races as well, doing fairly good in there. And then they had the Latin American Pro League, and they finished first there. I think like in terms of like Predator rankings, they've also just been high up in Brazil. So I think they're like one of the, like if you're gonna look at Brazilian teams, I might put them slightly above the other Khazar team, just based on that I know a bit more about them. But,
all right.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the Brazilian scene. If I'm to be completely honest, so I can't really weigh in much on this.
From what I've seen, they're a super aggressive team, but it's going to be interesting to see if that game's play works at LAN. It might not. I don't think they've ever really played in a competitive setting which comes to custom lobbies or league-wise, and the couple of games I've seen in scrims, I'm 100% sure they have insane skill. It's just a question mark is it going to translate well in this type of gameplay.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about kill races in general. If you do good in kill races, you have the aim, but if you don't know how to play in like pro league, like you're not gonna go too far. Like kill races don't show like how good of a team you actually are.
Exactly. It's just like you're rolling over people, and it's like
it's just pub stomping.
And then a bit of luck.
Yeah.
Exactly. So then we have Ringers, and I legit just don't know who's on that team.
Alright, so is it announced or not? Because I know who they are, but
I think it might be Lyric, but
yeah.
Okay,
is it?
Yeah, I saw that he was going.
Interesting.
To Poland, but I just didn't know like on what team. So I was just guessing he was gonna be on Ringers based on like the other open spots.
Did he announce who he's going with?
No, he just said I'm going to Poland for the tournament.
Okay, but then it's his team.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. Like he got out of CLG after they replaced him with
Madness. Yeah.
And like I wouldn't rate CLG too highly, especially after like X Games. They're like when I first saw them, I was like it's a streamer kind of team. That's what I first thought of them. But they've improved. But I think like at X Games it kind of showed their weaknesses at the time.
Yeah, but they have a lot of teams and a lot of time now to catch up.
Yeah, exactly. I think they've generally just tried really hard to fix their mistakes from X Games. But yeah, I don't know much about how Lyric otherwise has been doing. So then there's, I'm not gonna pronounce the first part, the Sonics team. It's like something like Susquehanna Sonics or something, which is...
No, we still have Samsung and Sentinels. We skipped through.
I'm actually
skip like 2 people.
Alright, back to Samsung then. Samsung Morningstars is... they have 2 Italian players or 2 Swedish players?
2 Swedish.
Yeah. And then the other one's Italian.
Yeah, yes sir.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd say top 10, and like based on what I saw in Pro League, they could finish high up, but I'm not gonna see like in terms of like if they're gonna compete against the other teams like MVP, NRG, Navi, Penta. Like I'd say they're below them, but I'd put them above like Isur, Serbania, AQ, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think they have a good chance of qualifying. I agree. I think most of the times I saw them in league, at least they were focusing a lot on their fighting, and I think this tournament sort of shows if you're a good team at contesting teams and fighting teams, then you have a good chance of doing well. So I think this tournament sort of suits their style. So it's going to be interesting to see them.
Then there is,
Yeah.
I think the other team that's generally more well known is
Yeah.
Sentinels. They came up there.
Yep.
They finished third at the X Games, and I think, yeah, they've shown to like they know how to win games. At least the X Games, because they have just been like their first day was a bit. It wasn't the greatest, but like day 2 they hit off.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're gonna be like one of the better NA teams coming in. I'd put them above Energy, for example, and the other Sonics and Team Secret as well.
Yeah, I think they're getting top 5 for sure. Actually, I'll definitely play some top 5.
I think their addition of Sanox, who was also played at X Games and Twitch Rivals and that kind of stuff, he's been a really great addition to their team.
No, I agree. I think they're a really good team. I think they're pretty much spot on to going on to the next phase, and I would say one of the favorites probably for the tournament as well at this point. They've done well at X Games, they've done well at Twitch Rivals. They just prove out over and over again how well how good they are a team and how consistent they are.
So that's the Susquehanna Sonics. I literally just don't know how to
I don't know how to say the name of the dude. It's some American name that I can't pronounce. Like it's okay. I don't know.
No one
It's so messed up.
So they picked up Android Dream. Well, I have seen him playing, but then they picked up Synced and Wicked, which I know
I've seen
like
Wicked
bigger
play.
streamers, but I just don't know.
Yeah, I've seen Wicked play with Shroud, and Wicked can hold his own, but I've only seen him play rank, so I can't really say much about him in like a APL or just pro league standpoint. But he played well when he played with Shroud and rank. That's about it. That's not really much to go off of.
No, I think they're an interesting team actually. From seeing them on scrims and just like normal ranked at the start, because the NA ranked were pretty stacked. The start Predator ranked. I think they're a team that can do well. I would put them in a group of teams that is most probably going through as top 10 teams.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's where I would leave that, to be honest.
Yeah, and then there's Team Secret, which is Yusuf, Aladdin, and Pish or Gish. One Pish, right?
Fish, yeah.
Pish.
We can just say it, which is
It's Fish.
Pish.
Uh,
Pish played for Ghost previously, which
Yeah.
was Moore and 2 other dudes. Forgot their names. So that team, I mean, like Ghost, they abandoned like the scene pretty quick. Which
Yeah,
was
they
kind
did.
Of, like,
It wasn't
pretty smooth. Like
that long.
they were really close to having like a really good roster as well. Because if they had Moore
Yeah.
and Pish, there was like American rosters and players. They had a stack lineup going for them. But yeah, I think Team Secret in the later American seasons they weren't in the secret then, but they were like just generally finishing top 3 every time.
No, yeah.
So
They're a consistent team. They're definitely a consistent team, and I think the addition of Fish has just done well. And I see them really another one of those teams that will go through top 10 without any problems.
yeah. So I think that just wraps up the group, and
Yeah.
I think my general prediction for like a top 5 is gonna be like MVP, Navi, Penta,
Sentinels,
Sentinels,
for
yeah,
sure.
definitely.
Yeah. And
Yeah, MVP, Navi, Penta, Sentinels, and RG, probably.
yeah.
I would put that as the top 5.
Yeah.
And I think like lower on we'll see like 789, Cooler, Q-Lash, Kasar maybe. They're gonna be like more of the dark horse.
It's Clash, remember.
Clash.
I'm so used to saying
We all are, dude.
Yep, but it's Clash. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry you're gonna hate it, but it's Clash.
Sounds so cool though, but whatever.
I'll just link it to like Clash of Clans, which I see a lot of their tweets.
Oh no, not Clash of Clans.
Yeah. I think that's just it. That's like a stacked top 5 for sure.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, Group A and Group B is super stacked. There's no doubt about that.
Then Group C, which I think it's the most like balanced out group.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It's also the group I call the group of kills. In the sort of sense, I'm
wow.
expecting this group being like two teams, zone 2.
Yeah.
Seeing
Because
some of the
yeah.
teams in there.
I think if
Yeah,
they're gonna like, I think the bottom team here, which we'll discuss last, that's gonna be an interesting point, because the scrim chat has been really fun when they play.
Like, yeah, like I think we should start going a bit faster because this is becoming like a 2-hour
Yeah,
podcast sort of
it's
thing.
pretty long right now. I'm not gonna lie.
But I am expecting like in a group where you have reciprocity, Windstrike, and I'm gonna add into it Rogue as well as in a sort of sense because they and CLG like they're all teams that fight when they have to fight. They don't back down.
Yeah,
I
just like
think
Samsung.
out of these four, I'd say Rogue maybe is the one that likes a bit more position, but they won't back out of fights. They know they can win fights. But Reciprocity and Windstrike are scary when they start fighting, and I think a lot of teams are going to be running away from.
Who's actually going with Snapdown for Reciprocity though? Does anyone know?
I do know. It's just not public yet. So
Is it not public?
No,
From
so
Rana
it's going to be
also.
interesting. If it's not public, it's going to be super interesting. Like who he brings.
All right, yeah, but I think it's not public, but
But
at the same time, just having Snipe down in, he's an insane player with this with he's an insane controller player. Like I'm not even kidding.
Yeah,
He's super dangerous, and I think a lot of teams don't want to fight against him.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but I think a lot of teams don't want to fight against him.
No, I don't blame him. Like him on the stick is pretty strong, dude. Definitely, if you watch him play Halo, he's like insane. So, and definitely, he's just like super like good mentally too. So
yeah,
he's super hard to fight against.
I think other teams I'm looking forward to is like Fierce, which was previously Tiny Hand Gang. They've just always been playing a lot of EU Pro League, very consistent across that. So I'm really like just looking forward to seeing how they're gonna stack up. Then there's FlyQuest, which has Monsoon.
Monsoon, baby.
He's a really fun dude, but he's also just really good at the game. Like he's gonna probably like when Tempo Storm finished like pretty high at X Games, and I'd say that's more largely due to Monsoon subbing in.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like a large part because I think in terms of like kills at X Games he finished second behind Snapdown.
He was second. Yep.
Like he's insane. Then there is I'm just quickly going over them. There's Justice Esports is another Korean team. I'd say I know less about them than, for example, MVP and Wyvern, but I'm gonna just stick to the idea that they're god Koreans and they're gonna roll over.
Korean gods, dude.
Then I think for Oceania, it's fun to highlight Kamikaze and Atletico. Atletico's like New York going in. X Games wasn't too hot for them, but I don't think their expectation was to be high as well. Kamikaze they've just played like a lot of kill race tournaments and fun. There's been an Asian tournament, mostly Chinese teams, and they told they were using Q sniping, and a part of the tournament was skill race. It was really weird, and like finding information was hell because Chinese translations. But they finished second or third there.
Second, yeah.
Unknown Chinese teams. I think they were first, they were third, and then one team got disqualified for cheating.
Do we have any Chinese teams in this tournament?
I think one got invited, but they're not on the list. But they're not even like full Chinese. There were like 2 Taiwanese players. But from what I talked to Shen, like the game isn't even officially out in China.
Oh yeah, they have to use VPNs. We talked about that in the chat. Yeah, they have to use VPNs, which makes sense. Yeah.
So
interesting.
It's like we don't know much from the Chinese side, and well, maybe later on we'll do. Then there's Lazarus, their European team, and they got into X Games through the kill race qualifier, which was, I think, expected because they were previously pump mussels, and they like kill races was their thing. So at X Games I was expecting them to be like bottom tier.
Yeah, they actually did pretty well.
So they surprised me by finishing like top 10. Even finished above Alliance, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I thought Alliance would at least get like
and they had a couple of games they could have won, which they threw.
I think we were like beaming, like you see. I think like one of their players jumped down from high ground and like moments before disaster struck.
Yeah, but yeah, they had a couple of games generally where they probably had the best position and they could have won the game, and then stuff happened. So I think they're a team that if they fix those mistakes, they could be very very dangerous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt.
Then there's Nagano, which AKU can play, because the same thing as Godspeed Neko. His parents are like, no, you can go.
That's like
Even
so
though he played
tragic.
at X
though.
Games in America, which was like,
Yeah,
all right.
Paradox was telling me about that, and I was like, dude, how horrible can it be that you can go to America but you can't go to Poland?
Mhm.
So I don't know who their third is. I have a slight idea because someone filled in the player form, and he
Okay.
wrote that he's gonna sub in, but I even don't know like who that player is. I just know a name, and that's it.
Interesting.
I think Nagano was the other European team that people expected to do better at X Games.
Yeah, I think I know who the third is, but I'm not sure as well because I know it through scrims, so I'm not so sure if he's actually the actual third or someone they're just playing with scrims for right now. But just in general, I think Naga teams has been through the history of Apex competitive,
Yeah.
and I think changing a KO will be a big blow, but I don't think it's gonna be. I think they will still have the possibility of going through top 10 here. I think there's a Rogue, which are probably one of the favorites of this group in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. I'd say they bring the X Games experience.
Yeah.
They're generally just really good players as well. So I think, that's my likely number one as well here.
Yeah. And then we have teams like Gamers Origin, FlyQuest, which everyone will know Monsoon from FlyQuest, but probably won't know the other two players, which come from different teams. So Lou played in a lot of different teams actually, and Zach used to play with Aladdin and Yusuf, right? If I remember
I think for
correctly.
one season, but I think he also played largely for Team Fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he played with them for like 4 months.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a squad. Like I think Monsoon is the big name on FlyQuest.
Yeah.
No doubt.
But there are other players. They're gonna hold up, and they're gonna be good.
Yep.
I think there's also Team Fire has Urban and Bert, and the Bert with a T, not the Bert with a T. And Lax. I don't know much about Lax because I just don't know much about how Team Fire competed. But Bert and Urban, like Urban is a really strong voice in game, and he's generally like, I think as an in-game leader he's doing a really good job. So I'm expecting like they're gonna be pretty good going in.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with like this is one of the hard groups for me to like sort of see who the top 10 is.
Yeah.
But I think top 5 will definitely consist of Rogue,
Yep.
FlyQuest, Gamers Origin, and then I would drop in someone like Tempo and possibly, and then I don't know if I think all the other spots are up for grabs. To be honest, like
I'd say maybe Tiny Hand Gang based on a bit of experience.
yeah, or Windstrike as well. Or Reciprocity, like
yeah, it depends on who Reciprocity picks up really if they get top 5 or not. But I think they're going to get out, but it really depends on who they get.
I think
I wish it was public so we can actually talk about it.
Otherwise, Sora is going to be interesting for me. I think they're pretty good guys.
Like that's the thing. There's so many teams in this group that can actually like take top 10. Even Alistar is good. Like that's the old team name without Badoli pretty much, and they used to do really well in league.
Exactly.
Picked up PG Ilner, right?
Yeah. I think at the start they weren't, when practicing. I was watching G Dolphin streams and they weren't too happy with the results. But I think later on he was like tweeting out like it's going better now, and he's definitely like on an upwards hill. Tempo gets to play with D-Cop now, which is their main player, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm really interested in Tempo with D-Cop, which in my opinion, I don't know, like it wasn't a big blow as I expected, to be honest, going into X Games. I would have expected them to do much worse without D-Cop. But Monsoon played really well and really did calls, so like it's impressive. And I think CLG have gotten really much better. and I think they have a shot as well of getting top 10. Justice Esports have really good aim, and they are probably another dark horse like Nagano, Soar, Fire. It's just a
Yeah.
group where I really don't know who I
Hard
would
group.
put in top 10.
Yeah.
Like
I
as I
think
said, it's
the only thing I want to touch on is Windstrike, because
yeah.
they're a Russian team who plays really aggressive. And when I was watching scrims, like everyone was hating on them, and they made like a push that wouldn't make sense normally, but they're gonna do it anyway. Like
Yeah,
they're just gonna
Krakow,
push.
dude.
Yeah, but the thing is, they've been playing like this since season 1
Exactly.
of Pro League. Like, I think I swear I had like nightmares of watching VODs where we would get pushed in EU League, by them, and they would just win. And then you're like, how is it possible? They push everyone, they just like win, 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 and then just hold, and nobody third parties them, or they're just that good at holding third parties.
Exactly.
That's just their playstyle, and they won a league, they won a season based on that playstyle. So like, people are gonna be. That's why I'm saying it's one of those groups where, in my opinion, like Zone 3, you're gonna have
Yeah.
3 teams left. But
Like the European teams, they generally just know what Windstrike is
Yeah.
gonna do. But I felt like all the NA teams, they were like, "Oh no, why are they doing this? They're greeting our scrims." I'm just like, this is to be expected from them.
yeah, I think the EU teams are like, yeah, it's Windstrike around. Watch out, guys. Like, expect this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think they're gonna surprise a lot of teams that don't expect them. Maybe now with Bullet Screams, a lot more teams expect it, so it's gonna be a bit less of a surprise. But they're a really strong team,
Yeah.
really, really strong team in my opinion.
So that moves on to the final group,
Yeah,
um,
D.
which is Group D.
and this is another very, like, I wouldn't know who to put in top 10 sort of group. I think we have a really like safe top 3, top 4, top
Yeah.
5,
Yeah,
and then
TSM
it's all
seven.
and then it's all like, okay, well, anyone can take the rest pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think in general, like the one team I'd actually put at 1. This is the only team I'd put at 1 in their group is TSM.
Yeah.
Just
No
based on
doubt.
X Games and a bit of like scrims and everything. Like they're smashing. And
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't
for sure.
you can't just deny it. They're a really really good team. I think
No, like TSM are probably the favorites for this whole tournament. In my
Oh
opinion.
yeah, I was just about to say it. They really are.
yeah,
If we go based on past results, based on their style, based on everything.
exactly.
As of right now, not seeing the tournament, I think they are the favorites for this whole tournament, and I would put them easily in top position, and I would put VP probably in second position for this group,
Mhm.
or like close second of another team that is, in my opinion, pretty much certain to go through this group.
Yeah, I'd say like after TSM picked up Reps and Albra,
Yeah,
they've just been insane.
no, I agree completely.
So yeah, let's just start it. Let's start again, and I think there's 2 Japanese teams in this group, which is I'm looking forward to them. I don't have high expectations, but I'm just looking forward to them, which are like Akibara Encount and Team Selector, and Akibara Encount they're like top ranked. In Japan, and I think a couple of their players are also like in the top 15 worldwide. Like they're in between the Koreans. And Selector has they've won a couple of kill races I've seen, but other than that,
Okay.
they're gonna be a dark horse. From what I heard from some other people, like scrims aren't like going too hot for them, but yeah, I'm just waiting to see what they're gonna do.
I'll say the ping is probably even worse than the Koreans though. So
Yeah, well, no, I like the Koreans type in chat and complain a bit about ping and big jokes, but the Japanese player, they haven't said like anything. So
They just play.
They just play.
isn't that what NA did when they played in EU?
No clue. So yeah. Then there is Echo Fox, which Echo Fox picked up their squad really early on.
Yeah.
And I don't know much about their 2 other players. I only know about Storman, which is a movement man. That's basically his stream. Like he has moves. He really knows how to play around movement in this game. But I just don't know how they're gonna do.
They're all players that come from H1Z1, from what I understand. I obviously knew Storm from H1Z1 because he was probably the most popular streamer back then. But they were really unlucky with bricks at the start of the scrims. Like they pretty much didn't manage to scrim well because of bricks. Yeah, get into the good lobbies, and I think they're a question mark. I think they can go through like they can't. Like it's one of those teams that I'm like,
It's a coin flip.
I don't know. Yeah.
So yeah, then there's the European Fnatic team, which
Yeah.
you haven't seen too much of them because mostly the American team has gotten the spotlight, I'd say.
Mm.
But their European squad is really good. But I just don't know how they're gonna, like, compared to their NA team, I don't know how good they're towards them or within this group. I think it's hard to call yet.
Yeah. I think they're a really strong team. I would put them in my top 10 to go through easily. But at the same time, with this group, it's always a question mark. Like, as I said, I think my only two certain teams I would say I'm certain will go through is TSM and VP, probably.
Yeah. Then there's Game Arena, which is Foxy, GG, Petty Boss, and
Glenn.
yeah, Glenn. Yeah, I'm not putting them top 10 in here. Just because like they're a consistent NA team.
Yeah.
But I don't think like consistency in this group is gonna like pay off against
No,
like, other
yeah,
really
I think
good teams.
I think you need to explode. You need to have an explosion game here.
Yeah. I think then there's Gen G. Well, a known name. I think pretty much when we were watching X Games, we were only joking about them because they made like early game pushes and they just died.
Yeah, I think they've got a lot better since then. They've picked up a new coach, in my opinion, from what I understand. And since they've done that, they've done much better. And I'm expecting them to do decently well. To be honest. I think they have a chance to go through, actually.
Yeah, if you don't know their past, they're old like Overwatch professional players. I know Grim Reality played for Valiant, and Silk Thread played for, I think, LA Gladiators. So they're old like Overwatch players.
Yeah. I think like they have the experience, but like from X Games, I was just like, oh no.
Yeah, I think X Games. I think X Games was a terrible way to showcase their first tournament. They had a really, really, really bad tournament, but
I mean, they didn't do that well in the Face It Pro Series either.
Yeah, but I actually think they have a possibility of going through this group. Like they've surprised me in the better way kind of ways lately since the practice resume. So well since they've started playing scrims. So like I think they have a chance.
No. So then there's HRO. Which have Arkian Hill, which was like their first court, and then they brought in Overpowered, who used to play for Cloud9.
Yeah.
I think like this is one of the teams like without an orc, they're in this group. You don't notice them that easily, but they're good. I'd say they're gonna be in the top 10.
Yeah. No, I agree. In my opinion, they're a really strong. In my opinion, they're going to as well.
Yeah. So then there's Kick. Which like I don't know how to put. Like they picked up Matrix and Sibe, which have been I think really good pickups for them, but their old squad wasn't really working out. I'd say wasn't too hot. So I think these pickups are really good, but I have to see it in action before I can put my faith in it. I know.
I think they have a chance to go through, and they have a good chance to go through. To be honest, but they're in like the bottom side of the 10 to go through.
Exactly. So that brings us to Misfits, and I think Misfits is probably they're gonna have high kill games to get their points and make their way into the top 10, just like at X Games. Expecting like a pretty explosive style from them.
No, yeah. And Misfits is another team I would say is probably top 10. They showed a different kind of game at X Games. I was expecting them to play a lot more position, and I think they just went nuts and started killing everyone, which was pretty intense for me.
Exactly. Like before X Games, I was like, I don't know too much about them. They had some decent finishes in NA Pro League, but I just generally thought they'd be in like the bottom 10. But they surprised me, and it was a blast to watch them. And so I'm looking forward to how they're gonna do in this tournament.
I think the last two or three teams we're missing from this group is Succubus, Space Station, and T1.
As in missing from what?
That we haven't talked about yet from
Yeah,
this
we
group,
haven't
no?
talked about them.
Yeah, the
Did
other.
we talk about Singularity though?
Oh no, we haven't talked about Singularity. Do we know the full lineup of Singularity? Has it been announced?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been announced. I think. I know it's on ESL at least, so I'd say it's public. But basically,
Okay.
Singularity, they had Despa, Fods, and Nicolarn. Nicolarn couldn't play due to nationality issues, so they brought in Lazar from Alliance.
Yeah.
Which I'm really curious on how they're gonna perform, because to my surprise, they did really well at Twitch Rivals, but that was with Nicolarn instead of Lazaxer. But I'd say I'd put Lazar above Nicolarn in terms of like how good a player he is.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'd agree with that. And I think he has a lot of experience and can probably help them with rotations and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. My biggest question mark in that team is probably going to be Fods, because I know he took a break from Apex and then came back.
Yeah.
So yeah. The other team...
Well, they got third, and that was with Nicolarn, so
yeah.
Twitch Rivals. So like they could do really well. See, that's the thing with these kind of groups. Like, there's so many teams that can do well.
Yeah. I think then there's two Latin American teams as well here. Sinisters and One Above All, and I think Sinisters is one of the better Latin American teams, and One Above All, I was actually pretty surprised to like see them invited.
Okay.
I know like they're one of their players had like a background in Heroes of the Storm or something. It was
Fair enough.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like. I think like One Above All they're not gonna finish too highly, but who knows what they'll bring.
Yeah, fair enough. And okay, so top, and then we were saying Space Station, Succubus, T1. They're all teams which, in my opinion, should go through top 10. In my opinion, these three. I think Space Station, since the addition of Bird, they've picked up a really good player, and they've gotten much better. Nothing against their old player, but I think just Bird is that old looking for offers team was just a really good team, and the way they split up is just made all the other teams better.
Yeah. Yeah, I think T1 is one team I expected to do slightly better at X Games as well. So I'm thinking now that they have the experience from like things like X Games, they're like looking strong in general. Succubus is, in terms of like European teams, they're really good, and they really surprised me at Twitch Rivals where they finished second as well.
Yeah, they finished first, no?
What, didn't Navi finish first?
No, he finished second. I'm pretty sure. Might be wrong, but
it doesn't have it on here.
Let's see. Yep, they finished first.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Succubus. Yeah, I think they're a really strong team. They've been getting better lately as the seasons of Pro League went on, and they've sort of like kept improving, and now they're a really solid team.
Yeah. And I think that leaves us to you have Sagelbert.
Sagelbert, yeah. Oh, I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just really good players. They switched up a bit.
Yeah.
They acquired Nitra instead of Blazin, and I think that was a really good pickup because Nitra previously played for Tiny Hand Gang.
Yeah.
Gang boys.
So yeah, that's been a really great addition to that team, I'd say.
No, I completely agree, and I think they're another team which are like they're one of the dark horses of this group, in my opinion. People won't really expect what they can bring, and they could do really well. This group is, in my opinion, is the so-called group of death.
Yeah.
Like if there is one hard group, it's definitely this one. Like you have two very strong teams, in my opinion, two of the teams that have the possibility of winning this tournament, which are TSM and VP, and then you have everything. So all the other teams have the chance of qualifying, pretty much. Like except maybe one or two, I think all the other teams have the chance of qualifying.
Exactly.
And there's also Liquid White with Casper and Flanker, which did decently well at X Games, more than I expected, to be honest.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Virtus Pro, we didn't really talk much about, but they're definitely like one of my favorite teams.
Yeah.
Virtus
Since
Pro,
they were a flavor of the month back then.
For those that might not think Virtus Pro generally has like Russian or CIS teams, they have a Scandinavian lineup with Pia from Norway and Taylor and from Sweden, and they've been playing like very early on the EU Pro Leagues, finishing like top 3 usually.
Yeah.
They're like really insane players. I think that's generally like one of my favorites as well for the whole tournament.
No, yeah, for sure. For sure. So we pretty much went through all the groups. Should we do a final recap of who we think will be the top 10 of the whole tournament, and then we can probably close this close this first podcast down, because I think we've been talking for about an hour and a half.
Yeah,
sounds
good.
Yeah, I think in terms of the first 2 EU teams that come to mind are G2 and VP, definitely. Yeah, these guys are actually just, I think, the highlight of the European scene.
Yeah, I agree.
And then I think the most obvious one coming from X Games are Team Solomid and Sentinels.
Yeah, definitely. I think I would put these 4 in as the main top 10. I would add into those 4. I would probably add MVP, and I would probably add Navi.
Yeah, definitely.
I would probably add MVP Navi to make it 6, and I don't really know who I would put at the last 4.
I generally I had like sort of a small ranking and had 3 other teams on like bottom 10 of that. But I think Rogue, Gambit.
Rogue I would definitely drop in as well. And Gambit, yeah, actually really 2 good calls I didn't even think about.
I think if T1 fixes on their slight mistakes at X Games, I think they're also going to be up there. And then I think sort of more as a more surprise, I'd either say like Third Impact, Fnatic, NA, or North. But for North and Third Impact, it's just generally how are they going to perform at this tournament.
I would. Yeah, I think Third Impact has a chance, and I think Fnatic and NA are probably one of the most consistent out of all of these as well. Like, they just consistently get good placements, 2 good rotations. They're just a really strong team. Yeah, I think this sort of, like, I'd actually agree with predictions, Callum. And I'm trying to think if there's anyone else I would put in, to be honest. I'm going to do a fast relook just in case I miss someone. I might actually, I might put in one of the 3 French teams in the top 10. So it's one between BDS, Gamers Origin, and Cooler.
Yeah.
I think BDS probably has most potential.
Yeah,
they probably have the most potential to get top 10.
I would see them and Gamers Origin as the 2 French teams that has the most potential to get in.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'd say Latin America teams, I don't see them like making top 10 just yet.
No.
Yeah.
Unless they're like, I'm really sleeping on them.
No, I think everyone would be sleeping on them in top 10, or I'm sorry to say, but possibly top 20 as well. Yeah. Like I think this is like their first tournament, so I think everyone is expecting them to sort of like, learn from it, and then in the tournaments to come, they might be very dangerous.
Yeah, I think generally your top 20 is gonna mostly be European and North American teams with like the likes of MVP and Wyvern going up high for Korea. Teams like from Japan, while I want them to do good.
They're all a question mark.
Yeah, because their scene's just not produced enough results, and they're just not. They're having growth, so we have nothing.
The thing is, like, I didn't even expect Japanese teams at the start. I was like, Japan generally just doesn't have a FPS shooting culture.
Not really, no.
So yeah, well, if they have been grinding, obviously. If you like look at the top 10 rankings worldwide, like one of their players is up there. So if their scene is enough and they know how to practice, I think they can surprise teams. But I'm just not counting on it.
No, definitely not.
No, for sure. Well, that being said, I think this sort of wraps up a bit of this first podcast. It's been maybe way too long as well. I don't know. We'll see how people react to this. But obviously, we had a lot to talk about and a lot of stuff to go through. There's 80 teams in Krakow, so it's not easy to explain all of them pretty fast. I'm guessing, well, I'm hoping the next one will probably be after Krakow, and we're gonna be talking about results and what went wrong with our predictions, what was right, and who surprised us, and who didn't.
And perhaps how the event in general went.
Yeah.
Obviously, you and me, Googly, are gonna attend there, so that's gonna be a pretty cool experience.
So catch us there for sure. If you want to come and say hi, come and say hi. And we're gonna leave you to this. And if anyone has any ideas or anything to talk about in the next one, drop it down in the comment of I don't know which social we're posting this on yet.
Hit this up on Twitter. I can't wait to have time on there anyway.
Yeah. And we're definitely, the idea is to have a couple more people inside this podcast for the next, a couple of guests throughout the next episodes. Sprinkle them in and create something the Apex scene can keep listening over.
Oh yeah, we can also talk about the meta too, of how the meta changed from APL for now, and like how Krakow its meta progressed.
Yeah, I would love to talk about meta a bit further down the line, in my opinion, because as of right now, it's sort of locked. There's not enough champions to see a difference in meta.
Yeah, just pick up a longbow. There you go, dude. Win the game.
Pretty much.
It really is. It's horrible.
But I do hope, in 1 month's time, when we get more heroes, or 2 months or 3 months, I don't know when we're gonna get more heroes.
I think
we'll be able to talk better about this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of games at Krakow.
Yeah.
So there's enough to talk about then.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you for being with me in this podcast, and thanks everyone who's been listening up until now. It's been pretty long. So we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
if you guys want to say bye to anyone in particular, you can say now. If not, close up this podcast.
Please help people at Liquipedia. I'm the only one doing work.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I'd say if you ever want to contribute to helping the pro scene, Liquipedia is a fun way. That's all.
Okay, well,
Plug.
I want to say thank you to both of you to invite me to this podcast, because I've been wanting to do a podcast about Apex Legends. What I'm strong about, I'm not really too much into the team aspect. I'm sorry. I know a lot about the meta and rotations and all of that. So I feel pretty bad that I didn't give much information about the teams when I'm more focused on the game itself and the mechanics.
It's fine. You'll have time to shine in the next ones.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Can't wait.
Thank you for listening, and that wraps it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wraps it up. We'll see you next episode. Bye, guys.